Hello everybody. Last year I picked myself up an example of the MG ZR, the hot hatch bad boy of the early 2000s, which 20 odd years ago any 17-year-old would have been desperate to get their hands on, but which, owing in part to the demise of its parent company MG Rover, only a few years after it was launched already found itself in the bargain bin of many a used car dealer, and over the next 2 decades, when many other hatches of that era have now found a cult following, the poor old ZR never quite did. And so I thought it was only time that somebody came and rectified this and spent an amount of money on it that is far, far beyond reason. Well, earlier this year I sent my MG ZR off to the good people at Classic Car Solutions, and I have just paid a very, very large bill for it. So, what have I got for it? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you and discuss whether I think it's still worth it. Now, it's, I think, pretty fair to say that the initial estimate I was given was something of a shocker. I knew that the car needed a lot of work. I didn't realise quite how much. And for those who didn't see that video, here we have in front of me the only good part of the entire car, the rear axle. I jest, although it must be said it did feel like that was the truth. When I was given that first estimate and I saw the sheer quantity of work that needed doing, to say nothing of the price of it, I was a little bit taken aback, and there was a moment where I thought, right, that's it, I should cut my losses and run, because this is a car that is going to cost far, far more to fix than it was ever going to be worth. And to give you an idea of what exactly it was that we were up against, here are some shots from that visit. As you can see, underneath, the car is quite patchy and in some cases quite holy. This is not unusual for, well, just about any MG or Rover of the day, but this one, though not tragic, was certainly pretty bad. And the simple fact was, if I wanted to fix it, I had to spend quite a bit of money. But you're happy to see the car, aren't you, dog? Apparently so. And now, let's show you where we're at today. Unbelievable, isn't it? This doesn't even feel like the same car that I left here. Now, as you can tell, we are really only halfway, if even that, through the process. But what we have done is fixed all of the corrosion for effectively almost all of the underside of the car. The only bit still outstanding is the front end in the engine bay, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment. But this has taken quite some time to do, and the guys here have really gone overboard. They've put extra hours into this, done extra bits, all because they, like me, want to see this saved. And where old Triumphs, even MGs, Aston Martins, Jaguars and Ferraris come to places like this all the time, they know having something like this in a facility like we have here is a real rarity. And so not only do they want to show off what they can do, they want to make sure that this car is preserved for future generations. And I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever that with all the work that the guys have done, this car is now going to be around for quite some time yet. Because I think it's no stretch to say that this ZR, from underneath at least, is now in better condition than any that ever left the factory. Because there's no way that, well, many car companies and certainly MG Rover would ever have spent this much time on protecting the underside of their car. So from the factory they did do a little bit, but in terms of paintwork and the like, there was a bit of an overspray almost underneath it. It certainly didn't look like this. So then, what is it that's been done? Well, first off, both of the sills have been replaced. They were very rusty, and to be honest, that was the most sensible thing to do. On this car, I have given the instruction that where we can, we will repair and reuse, but where it is either necessary or sensible, we will just replace. However, I am trying to replace where I can with OEM or OEM equivalent parts. And on that front, I might need your help. A little bit more on that when we get to the other end of the car. Happily, we didn't need to replace the rear arches, which we thought we might have to. They instead could be repaired and actually now look pretty decent. In case you were wondering, the big square patches inside of them I thought were repair panels. They're not. This is how the car comes from the factory. One modification that has been made to the car is there are now little holes on the end covers of the sill here so that a lance can be put into it and the inside cavity can be wax oiled and protected. From the factory again, this is something that wouldn't be done, and it means that if somehow something did get through that sill, well, water, salt and other grit and grime could get in and the thing would rust from the inside out, which is likely what happened to it the first time around. The seams, another weak point, have also been resealed to keep out any nastiness. Not that I think this car is going to go too far in the rain when I get it back. Internally and externally, it's also been zinc primed as well as epoxy primed and also coated with stuff called U-Pole Raptor. Now this is pretty hardcore stuff. It's used on the back of truck beds and things like that. It's very, very tough and means that the likelihood of any stone or the like getting through this in future are fairly slim. It was then finally, of course, painted and clear coated, so it looks good too. Though I am going to resist the temptation to be one of those people that turns up to a car show with mirrors so you can see under the thing. That's just weird, isn't it? But alas, there is still quite a bit of work to do, and the next stage is to remove the engine. Now this was not part of the original plan, but having already spent quite a bit of time on it, I think the guys here have become rather fond of it, and they've said, look, we want to do the best job we can, and to do that, we really do need to get the engine out of it. And if you're happy with that, we'll actually cover the labour cost of doing that. And by doing so, not only can we do the very best paint job possible, but it'll also make tending to many mechanical things a lot easier. So this car needs a new rear main seal because it's leaking oil and probably a damn good service as well. And on that front, there are a few things that I would like your help with. As you can see, the front subframe on this is not in the best condition, but we have struggled to find a new one. So if you happen to know where you can get one or you happen to have one, please do get in touch. Likewise, an intake for this. It's a ZR160. I can find an intake for the other variants, the 105 and the 120, but not the 160. This has got an aftermarket item on it and I would like it to go back to original. The same goes for the exhaust. It's aftermarket, it's silly loud, it's exactly what people did 20 years ago, and finding an original is quite difficult because they all corroded. But if somebody does have one in decent nick, if you would like to sell it to me, please do get in touch. Wheels, tyres, brakes, all that good stuff we have in hand. Likewise, the rear lights, I know, they upset a lot of people. Very common thing that people did to these. They're from a Mark II. The Lexus style lights they're called. I have a set of correct Mark I lights ready to go on the back of this, so fear not. Inside, I also need to get a new dash because this one has a weird little bubble in it. I don't know how it happened. It's been there from when I got the car, and that needs sorting. But, yeah, there's just a few little bits we're trying to find, and if anybody can help us with that, I'd be very, very grateful. Thing is, though, I paid £2,000 for this car, and I've just settled the bill for £7,000. That gets us to this stage, and I'm going to have to spend at least that again to bring the job to completion, if not probably closer to about £10,000. And at the end of all of this, the car might be worth in excess of £6,000. Why am I doing this? Well, the answer's really simple. This is a good car. They look all right, they go really well, they're quite fun. No, they were never the fanciest, flashiest thing in their day. But these are cars that for a lot of people will hold a special place in their hearts, because for many people this might have been their first car, or at least something quite like it. I'm sure plenty of people might have had a Rover 25, the car on which this is based, or the earlier Rover 200. They're decent things and they deserve a second chance, but because of what they are, because of the badge that they wore, very few people are willing to give it to them. And I'm in a really lucky position where doing this as I do for a living has put me in a financially good position. And so I'm happy to use the resources that I now have to pour back into a local business staffed by the next generation of classic car restorers who are just as passionate about these things as you or I. And if it means I can then get this back onto the road and get it to a car show where someone will look at it and go, oh my God, that looks like it's just come out of the showroom. Well, that's just going to put the biggest smile on my face. And the fact is, you want to go and see a Ferrari, something like that, they're everywhere. People always look after Ferraris. People always look after Porsches, so on and so forth. Lamborghinis, all that sort of stuff. They're great, they're lovely, and I have an appreciation and a joy for all cars. But some of them, I think, deserve the help a little bit more than others. So if you've enjoyed the fact that I'm mad enough to commit to doing this sort of thing, and you haven't yet liked or subscribed, please do. Anyway, and that's it for now, and we will revisit the old girl in the new year when the engine is out, and we can see exactly how she's doing mechanically before getting her back together with the aim, hopefully, of getting to a show next year. So where should I take it? Hit the comment section and tell me. But until then, I want to say simply a massive thank you to the people at Classic Car Solutions, and as ever, to you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.